The largest mountain fire in the state of South Carolina is the Table Rock Fire. The Table Rock Fire started in March of 2025. It started on top of Table Rock, and some young people were up there and made some poor decisions. I have never seen fire move as fast in the east as I saw fire move across this landscape.
I believe it was that Wednesday when I noticed at about 4 p.m. all the way across the reservoir, the fire had hopped the river and traveled about a mile or so, just spotting peninsula to peninsula. And right there we knew we had, a big wildfire on our hands.
Prior to that, the largest fire in the mountains of South Carolina was the Pinnacle Mountain Fire in 2016. That was about a little over 10,000 acres.
The Pinnacle Mountain Fire in 2016, when that occurred, it really brought home, hey, we can have big wildfires here. It really opened our eyes to the need. Now, we've come really far, but there are other steps that we can take. Our fire program here in South Carolina in the mountains, the Nature Conservancies had a little bit of a footprint, but our fire crews were based on the coast of South Carolina. And it became, I think there's an opportunity here for us to have a really big impact up here. And so we decided to move one crew to the upstate so that we could support all of our partners.
Pinnacle Mountain Fire kind of woke up people to the idea that, hey, we're living with fire on the East Coast now, and especially at this property, just the way it's set up with, there's not a lot of access, and we also have the public who are on the state park a lot, so we're gonna be living with fire, there's gonna be more starts. And so kind of push Greenville Water to take a more proactive stance on that management, and that looked like, hey, let's get prescribed fire going on both of our properties. The Nature Conservancy holds the conservation easement over both of those properties in perpetuity to keep them protected. They've assisted us a lot in growing our program into having more active management on the landscapes over the years, and a big part of that has been their work with prescribed fire. Fire is a great tool to use on the landscape. It's getting to the point where it's a lot more of those mesic species. So the poplars, maples, sourwoods, those tree species can use more water. They can hold more water across the landscape. And we're concerned about long-term forecasting for water, where even if we can adjust, our forest type by and get a 5% better yield when you're looking at billions of gallons or hundreds of millions of gallons, that can make a big difference.
We talk about our fire family here, and we laugh and we kind of chuckle around about that, but we really are a fire family. And when Helen looks up, at the top of Table Rock on day one trying to put the fire out and sees there's the Nature Conservancy, there's Greenville Water, there's DNR, there's the Forestry Commission, here's the Forest Service, among a whole bunch of other people, right? Up on top, all doing the same thing. What we had from that 2007 inception of the local fire learning network landscape here to that point, almost 20 years later, we had established a level of trust and respect and understanding amongst each other. And then when something like the Table Rock wildfire occurs and we all show up to help, we all understand each other automatically.
One of the key takeaways for me is the incredible value of something that seems simple, like people hugging each other at meetings when they see each other. These things seem really simple, but people who know each other, know each other's families, like to hang around with each other after the workday is over. Those things really matter when it comes to a situation like the Table Rock Complex fire, where everyone is stressed, everyone is working on lack of sleep, you're all breathing smoke. And when you're doing that with people who you already know and trust, that lets you manage that fire better.
Partner-wise, being able to show up that night and say, this fire that started on top of Table Rock, it's not on our property right now, but it will be on our property, you know, in the very near future, within a day. We had a better idea what to do with our response from last time. All the crew was a lot more familiar with fire after being able to participate in prescribed burns, both on our properties and surrounding ones with partners. Everyone was comfortable with fire.
If I'm completely honest, when I started my career in fire 27 years ago, we weren't putting prescribed fire on the ground in the mountains of the Southern Blue Ridge. So those of us who are managing lands in this space are thinking, gosh, how do we do this? And what do we need? What mechanism do we need to make it happen? And the Southern Blue Ridge Fire Learning Network was just that. It's a space where we share ideas. It's a space where we take the most current science and implement it into our land and management strategies. It's the place where we identify needs and gaps and try to fill those needs and gaps. We are all the best of friends, and we all support one another in amazing ways through the Fire Learning Network. We thought through the FLN we were impacting just prescribed fire. We were actually impacting the ability to fight fire together because of these deep relationships we had built.